So, I am going to assume everyone's seen Infinity War by now. It's been 2 months, the next movie's in 2 weeks. It's about Ant-Man. Are you hype? Better question might be, were you hyped the first time Ant-Man followed a big Avengers movie? Think back. Compare, in fact. While you're doing that, think back and compare how you're feeling about Avengers 3 to how you felt about Avengers 1 at the time. What do you feel? Satisfaction, longing, closure, craving? How about when this guy showed up for the first time? I've seen a lot of discourse over the past few years to the effect of, I'm gone out of Phase 3, I just want the payoff. There's no way they can keep me invested out of Thanos as long as my neck is getting bigger. I'm a bit skeptical. The ride never ends. See, Marvel mastered marketing way back in the 1960s. It's kind of the foundation of their entire brand. It runs through everything. The characters, the stories, the world, the tone, the whole Marvel method. It's one big, well-oiled Rube Goldberg machine. A Connect set, as opposed to DC's Crystal Kits, Play-Doh collection, Sea Monkey Aquarium, whatever. Point being, their first superhero was a literal manufactured man, their god artist who built everything was fascinated by machine designs, they're fundamentally mechanical. In a good way. Everything's perfectly placed and positioned to best complement everything else. On a side note, this is why DC's movies are sort of floundering. As an infrastructure, they're very organic, lots of complexities and mutations. Yet, the movies have been trying to copy the Marvel way. It doesn't work. What did work out for DC was what they tried in the 90s, with the cartoons. Compare Batman the Animated Series by Bruce Timm to the Spider-Man Animated Series by Fox Kids. Batman's better. Hands down. Everyone knows that, I'll admit that. It was creatively focused, character-intensive, director-driven, with lots of smart writing and novel techniques and masterful execution. But it doesn't have the surrounding world that Spider-Man did, with Hulk and X-Men and Fantastic Four and Iron Man and Silver Surfer. Marvel's creatively adaptable, setting-intensive, producer-driven approach meant you could slot in any character anywhere at any time. Batman couldn't do that. The show's whole aesthetic was built to reflect him. Whenever DC ordered a spin-off, Bruce Timm would have to go back to the drawing board and redesign everything to accommodate less gloomy, more flamboyant, non-Batman characters. Because he knew that Batman's tone didn't fit Superman. Even so, it stayed pretty conservative. When the Justice League cartoon came along, you were meeting all these guys for the first time. Sound familiar? As a kid, I preferred the Marvel cartoons because, yeah, they were lower quality, but they felt like pieces of a bigger picture. Inspired that sense of wonder and potential. Because Marvel applied what they'd been doing in the comics since the 1960s. Crossovers, continuity, collector mindsets. As they have continued to do for the MCU, to great success. They've mastered this. Case in point, Thanos. I've really been looking forward to his interim movies just as much as the actual movies, for a year or two. Because I have a good idea what they're going to do with them. You know, why put them there? Why distract from the Thanos story? Simple. They're not going to distract from the Thanos story. They're going to add to it. The threat of Thanos, like a lot of things of Thanos, is twofold. You've got the person, then you've got the power. The madman and the means, the will and the way. You can't shove all the necessary exposition into one movie without it toppling over. Maybe not even two. That's why the MCU model exists. Avengers 1 didn't need to explain Tesseracts or Asgardians or Hulks, so it just got straight to the fun stuff. Seeing the firework being made and seeing the firework being used are mutually exclusive. You can choose either, you can choose both. Playing the field. Perfect balance. Thanos is historically tied to the Captain Marvel franchise. The original Captain Marvel's comic gave him his first big storyline, fleshed out his home planet, gave him a family, explored his philosophy, springboarded all of his lore. Since the Captain Marvel movie, spoilers, is set 20 years ago, features the original guy, brings back Thanos' flunkies from Guardians of the Galaxy, there's a damn good chance it'll depict Thanos' origins a bit. address his motives, maybe even show Titan's fall, maybe show how it didn't happen quite like he said it did. Then, of course, you've got the Infinity Stones. How do you neutralize them? The power of a god? Well, maybe by talking to the literal gods that created the damn things. The abstract concepts given form. Eternity, entropy, death, and infinity. But how do you do that? The funny thing about that last one, she represents all of space. In the comics, she exists just out of sync with the universe, in an equally vast pocket dimension full of weird eldritch energies, called the Quantum Zone. Close enough. Did I mention that Ant-Man comics actually deal a fair bit with the cosmic abstracts? There's this whole metaphysical lore thing about the microverse underspace and the macroverse overspace, which in some depictions form a circuit loop from a certain point of view. Shrink down small enough and you could end up back at the top, in the god's waiting room by the water cooler. They've had the name drops, they have the motivation, and given Ant-Man and Wasp's plot, and how it revolves around the quantum realm, they'll soon have superheroes on their doorstep. Agents to do their bidding, perhaps. Are you hyped now? Doesn't matter. All this is preface.